Aim of the practical is to verify the DHO equation, that is D by Huckel-Onsager's equation of a strong electrolyte. So basically in this practical you have to determine the equivalent conductance of a strong electrolyte at different dilutions, and further you need to verify the DHO equation. So what is DHO equation? What all are the terms in the DHO equation? That we will see further. But we know that the electrolyte, when it is being dissolved in any of the solution, it get dissociated into ions. So there are two types of electrolytes, right? There would be strong electrolyte as well as the weak electrolyte. So strong electrolyte in any of the solution, it gets completely ionized, right? 100% ionization of strong electrolytes occurs. Whereas when we talk about the weak electrolytes, then weak electrolyte ionizes only partially. Okay, they dissociate only partially. Okay, so in this practical, you have to use strong electrolytes. Okay, for example, you can take HCl, KCl, NaCl, KNO3, etc. So before we start with the practical, it is important to understand the three terms, that is specific conductance, equivalent conductance and molar conductance. So let us first of all start with the specific conductance. So we know that in order to measure the conductance, you require a conductivity cell. Now this conductivity cell would be having two platinum electrodes. Okay, there would be two platinum plates and each one of this would be acting as an electrode. One would be acting as an anode, another would be acting as a cathode, right? So there are two platinum plates. Now these two platinum plates would be separated from each other by a specific distance. Okay, so usually that distance between these two plates would be 1 centimeter, and the cross sectional area of each one of this plate would be 1 centimeter square, right? So over here the L is the distance between these two platinum plates, and suppose say it is 1 centimeter, and the cross sectional area, that is A, is equals to 1 centimeter square, right? So when you are measuring the conductance of the solution having definite dilution, which is being enclosed in a cell having two different electrodes which are separated from each other by 1 centimeter, and which is having the cross sectional area of 1 centimeter square, then the conductance which is being measured is referred to as a specific conductance, right? Because the cross sectional area would be 1 centimeter square and the distance between these two electrodes would be 1 centimeter. So over here, okay, so volume of the solution between these two plates would be considered to be 1 centimeter cube volume. Okay, so the conductance of the solution in between these two plates would be considered to be as a specific conductance. Okay, now let us move on to the next thing, that is equivalent conductance. So equivalent conductance is the conductivity of a solution containing 1 gram equivalent of an electrolyte when it is being measured between electrodes 1 centimeter apart. So over here these two electrodes are 1 centimeter apart, right? So if you dissolve 1 gram equivalent of the electrolyte in this entire solution, then the conductivity of this solution which is being measured would be referred to as an equivalent conductance. Now the next one is the molar conductance. So if you dissolve 1 mole of an electrolyte in any of the solution, and if you measure the conductivity of the solution by the electrodes which are 1 centimeter apart, then the conductance which you are measuring is referred to as the molar conductance. Okay, so these are three different terms which are very important to understand. Now let us move on to the D by Huckel-Onsager's equation. So this equation is lambda c equals to lambda 0 minus a lambda 0 plus b under root c. So over here you can see that there are number of terms which are being involved. Now the specific conductance decreases with the decrease in the concentration. Why? Because in the dilute solutions, when the concentration is lesser, the concentration of the ions per unit volume would be lesser, right? And the ions which carries the current would be lesser per unit volume. So that is the reason that specific conductance decreases with the decrease in the concentration. Okay, whereas if we talk about the equivalent conductance, then it increases with the decrease in the concentration. So why this is so? Because we know that according to the Arrhenius theory, strong electrolytes dissociate completely in any of the solution, whether it is diluted or it is concentrated, right? Which means that 100% dissociation of strong electrolyte occurs in any of the solutions. But when we take the concentrated solution, the inter-ionic interaction would be more. And due to this, the migration speed of the ions would be lesser. So equivalent conductance would be lesser in higher concentrated solutions. But when the solutions are being diluted, the inter-ionic attraction, or you can say inter-ionic interaction, decreases, and due to this the migration speed of the ions increases, and when the migration speed of the ions increases, equivalent conductance increases. So this is the reason that equivalent conductance increases with the decrease in the concentration. So specific conductance decreases with decrease in concentration, because with the decrease in the concentration there would be decrease in the concentration of the ions per unit volume. But on the other hand, equivalent conductance increases with the decrease in concentration, because in the dilute solutions the inter-ionic interaction would be lesser, and this will lead to the increase in the migration speed of the ions, and due to this the equivalent conductance increases with the decrease in the concentration. Now the DHO equation, that is D by Huckel-Onsager's equation, equals to lambda C equals to lambda 0 minus in bracket A lambda 0 plus B under root C. So over here lambda C is the equivalent conductance, and we know that equivalent conductance increases with the decrease in the concentration. So over here in this equation, lambda C is the equivalent conductance at a given concentration. Okay, so for this practical, first of all, you have to take univalent strong electrolyte. So now let us understand what is univalent electrolyte. So the electrolytes which, when they dissociate, the ions which are produced would be having same valency. Okay, we know that whenever the electrolyte dissociates, it would form positive and negative ions, right? So the valency of the positive and negative ions would be same. For example, let us see HCl, right? So when the HCl dissociate, it would produce H plus ions as well as Cl minus ions. So in H plus, valency is +1, in Cl minus, valency is -1, right? So valency is 1, right? It would be either +1 or -1, right? Valency is same. So such type of electrolyte are being referred to as univalent electrolyte. Like valency means means valency, right? Uni means same. Okay, so for this practical we require univalent strong electrolyte. So you can either take HCl, you can take KCl, you can take NaCl, right? So first of all, you have to prepare a range of standard solutions of HCl, right? So over here you can see that the concentration of the first solution is 0.001 normal, second one is 0.0025 normal, and similarly you have to prepare a range of the solutions which are having different concentrations, right? So these are the diluted solutions of the HCl. And once you prepare all of the solutions, you have to find out the equivalent conductance of all of the solutions, right? So now you will be having the equivalent conductance for different solutions. Okay, so you would be having a range of the equivalent conductance. Okay, so by using the equivalent conductance value and the concentration value, you have to plot a graph. So this is the graph of equivalent conductance versus dilution, and this is the graph of equivalent conductance versus the concentration, right? So this graph you have to prepare, And over here we have taken the strong electrolyte. So you can see that with dilution, the equivalent conductance of strong electrolyte increases. Right over here I have mentioned that equivalent conductance increases with decrease in concentration. So the concentration decreases, right? This is the dilution side. So initially the concentration would be maximum and then it decreases. Okay, so with the decrease in the concentration, or you can say with the dilution, the equivalent conductance of strong electrolyte decreases. So here also in this figure, where we have taken a graph of equivalent conductance versus the concentration, you can see that as the concentration increases, equivalent conductance decreases, right? Because the nature would be opposite to this over here, right? So you can see that initially in the highly diluted solution, the equivalent conductance would be maximum, and as the concentration increases, the equivalent conductance would decrease, right? So this is the case for the strong electrolyte. Okay, and in the weak electrolyte, the nature of the graph would be like this. Okay, but over here, since we are taking only strong electrolyte, we will remain confined with the strong electrolyte only. So you have to consider this and you have to consider this. Okay, so you can see that the nature is opposite in both of the graphs, right? So now focus over this part. You can see that so as the dilution increases, or you can say as the concentration decreases, equivalent conductance increases. But later on, when the solution is highly diluted, the equivalent conductance would attain a limiting value. Okay, so equivalent conductance would attain a limiting value at infinite dilution. Okay, because whenever you dilute the solution infinitely, it would hardly have any of the ions. Okay, so that concentration you can also consider to be as a zero concentration, right? So lambda zero is the equivalent conductance at zero concentration, or you can say infinite dilution. Okay, so then when you keep on diluting the electrolyte, the conductance would remain the same, and that would be lambda 0. Okay, and that is considered to be as a limiting value, and this limiting value is referred to as equivalent conductance at zero concentration or infinite dilution, and that is being denoted by lambda 0. So lambda 0 at a particular temperature would be specific for a specific electrolyte. Over here you can see that lambda 0 at 25 degrees Celsius for different electrolytes are being given. For HCl it would be 426.16 more centimeter square equivalent inverse. For KCl, it would be 149.86 more centimeter square equivalent inverse. For NaCl, it would be 126.45 more centimeter square equivalent inverse, right? So lambda 0 is a limiting value and it is considered to be as an equivalent conductance at zero concentration or at infinite dilution. Okay, and if you see this figure, then over here this would be the infinite dilution, so this would be the lambda 0. Okay, so you have to find out in this practical this equivalent conductance at infinite dilution, and this graph would be better to draw. Okay, you can easily find out the lambda 0 from the intercept, right? So whenever you perform this practical, you have to draw a graph of equivalent conductance versus the concentration, and from the intercept you can get the lambda 0. Okay, so this lambda 0 in the equation is this one, right? So it is the equivalent conductance at zero concentration or infinite dilution. So when you dilute your solution infinitely, the concentration of the ions which are there would be nearer to zero. I mean, hardly there would be any ions in that, and the equivalent conductance would attain a limiting value, and that is referred to as an equivalent conductance at infinite dilution or at zero concentration, right? So now if you consider this part, then over here these two values A and B are the constant values at 25 degrees Celsius for univalent electrolyte. Okay, and these values are, for A it is 0.2273 and B would be 59.78. Okay, so for any of the univalent electrolyte, that is for HCl, KCl, NaCl, A and B would be constant at 25 degrees Celsius, and that values would be this two. Okay, and again this lambda 0 is the same, that is equivalent conductance at zero concentration or infinite dilution. And this under root C is the concentration of the electrolyte, right? You have prepared a range of the standard solutions. Okay, so you have to take the square root of 0.001, and that would be considered to be as a concentration of the electrolyte, that is this one. So I hope that all of the terms in DHO equation is clear, right? So in this practical, what you have to do is, first of all, you need to prepare a range of standard solutions of the univalent strong electrolyte. Then you have to find out the equivalent conductance of all of these solutions. Okay, and with the help of that you need to draw this graph, and then you need to find out the lambda 0 value. Okay, and with that value you have to prove that the DHO equation is being satisfied for a strong electrolyte. Okay, and over here you can see that the variation of equivalent conductance of a strong electrolyte with concentration in dilute solution is being given by DHO equation, right? So lambda C over here is the equivalent conductance, right? So with the change in the concentration, there would be variation in the equivalent conductance. Okay, because we know that with dilution, the ions would be getting more space to move freely, and due to this the inter-ionic interaction would be lesser, and due to this the migration speed of the ions would increase, and finally the equivalent conductance would increase with dilution. So definitely with dilution the equivalent conductance would change, and you will find the variation in the equivalent conductance with dilution, right? So variation of equivalent conductance of a strong electrolyte with concentration in dilute solution is being given by DHO equation. Okay, so over here, as I told you, that you have to prepare this particular graph, and from the graph you can find out the lambda 0 value. Okay, so you can either go for NaCl, KCl or HCl. You can use any of the strong univalent electrolyte in order to prove the DHO equation for a strong electrolyte, or you can say in order to verify the DHO equation. So this is the DHO equation, right? Over here you can take y is equals to c plus mx. Okay, so y, that is lambda c, we have taken on the y-axis, and x, okay, that is under root c, we have taken on the x-axis. Okay, over here c is the intercept, right? And the slope would be minus a lambda 0 plus b. Okay, so now let us see that how this practical is being performed. So this practical is being divided into two parts, right? And over here we are taking KCl as a strong univalent electrolyte in order to verify the DHO equation. Okay, you can take any one out of these three. We have taken KCl over here. Okay, so the requirements are 0.1 normal KCl, 100 ml glass beaker, conductivity cell, conductometer, magnetic stirrer, wash bottle, double distilled water, and filter papers, right? So as I told you that there are two parts in this practical. The part one is the determination of cell constant using dilution of 0.1 normal KCl. Okay, so over here you have to take different diluted solutions of 0.1 normal KCl, and you have to find out the cell constant. Now we know that cell constant equals to L upon A. Okay, so over here L is the distance between these two platinum plates, and A is the cross-sectional area of the plate. Okay, again I am repeating, cell constant equals to L upon A. Okay, so if the distance between these two plates is 1 centimeter and the cross-sectional area is 1 centimeter square, then the cell constant would be 1 centimeter inverse. Okay, so the conductivity cell which you are using would be having the cell constant 1. Okay, so before performing the practical also you will be knowing that the cell constant of your cell is 1 centimeter inverse. But again you need to find out the accurate cell constant. Okay, it won't be exactly 1. It can be slightly different, okay, based upon the temperature at which you are performing the practical. Okay, so you have to first of all find out the exact cell constant, and that would be nearer to 1. Okay, so as I told you that first of all, you have to prepare a range of the diluted solutions of KCl. Okay, so whatever you take the strong univalent electrolyte, whether you take NaCl, KCl or HCl, whenever you are determining cell constant, always it has to be determined by using KCl. Okay, so these are the three diluted solutions which are being prepared. Okay. Now over here, observed conductance is the conductance which would be displayed on the screen when you will be measuring the conductance of these three solutions. Then there would be the specific conductance. Now the specific conductance I have already discussed over here. So specific conductance would be specific for a particular electrolyte at a particular temperature, okay, and at a particular concentration. Okay, so again I am repeating, the specific conductance would be specific for a specific electrolyte at a specific concentration and at a specific temperature. So over here we will be considering 25 degrees Celsius as a standard temperature. Okay, so whatever the temperature of your solution is, we will be considering it to be as a 25 degrees Celsius as a standard temperature. And at 25 degrees Celsius, the specific conductance of 0.01 normal KCl is 1.413 millimole per centimeter. This is fixed. Okay. For 0.02 normal KCl at 25 degrees Celsius, specific conductance would be 2.765. Okay, and for zero point 0.1 normal KCl solution, the specific conductance at 25 degrees Celsius would be 12.88 millimole per centimeter. So these three values are fixed for KCl at different concentrations at 25 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now what you have to do is you have to take these three solutions of KCl one by one, and you have to put the conductivity cell into this solution. Okay, and whatever the reading which you get on the conductivity meter, that you have to note down, and that would be considered to be as an observed conductance. Okay, then with the help of these two values, you have to find out the cell constant. So cell constant equals to specific conductance upon observed conductance. Okay, so specific upon observed will be giving you the cell constant. Then you have to find out the average of the cell constant, and that would be around 1 centimeter inverse. Okay, so these are the readings of one of the students, right? So over here you can see that these are the observed conductance values which were obtained. Okay, and specific conductance values would be fixed. Okay, so the cell constant which is being obtained is near to 1, and then you need to take the average. So average is 0.97. Okay, and this average you have to consider for the second part. Okay, we will be requiring the exact value of cell constant in the second part calculation. So the first part is to find out the exact cell constant of the conductivity cell which you will be using, okay, in order to verify the DHO equation. Okay, so whatever the strong univalent electrolyte you are taking, you have to find out the cell constant using KCl only. Okay, now let us move on to the second part. That is verification of DHO equation using strong electrolyte. And as I told you that we have taken KCl as a strong electrolyte over here. So first of all, you have to prepare a range of the standard solutions of the strong electrolyte, that is KCl. So you have to take a range of the standard solutions of the KCl starting from 0.001, 0.0025 and up till 0.02. Now this Debye-Huckel-Onsager's equation gives the variation of equivalent conductance with concentration in dilute solution up to 0.001 normal only. Okay, so we are not taking diluted solutions, I mean more diluted than 0.001. Okay, because the Onsager's equation will give you the variation in the equivalent conductance in the solution which are diluted till 0.001 1 only. Okay, below this it won't give you the variation in the equivalent conductance, right? So this is the most diluted solution which we are taking, and we won't be taking the diluted solutions, I mean even diluted further than this concentration. So we are having the range of the standard solutions, okay, of KCl. Under root C, you can easily find out under root 0.001, under root 0.0025. Okay, so this column is done. Then comes the observed conductance. So what you have to do is one by one, you have to deep the conductivity cell which you have used in the first practical to find out the observed conductance. Okay, and you have to write down the observed conductance which you have observed on the display screen of the conductivity meter. So all of those values you have to write it over here. So the observed conductance which would be displayed on the screen would be in millimole, and that you need to convert it into mho. Okay, so the value which you will be getting, you have to multiply it with 10 raised to minus 3 in order to convert it into mho. Okay, and you can even call it as Siemens. Okay, because 1 mho equals to 1 Siemens. Okay, so whatever the value which you get on the screen, you have to multiply it with 10 raised to minus 3. Okay, and you have to write down all of those conductance values over here. Then with the help of that, you need to find out the specific conductance. Okay, so specific conductance over here is being represented by K, because specific conductance is also referred to as kappa. Okay, so specific conductance equals to cell constant into observed conductance. Okay, so this equation is being used, right, where the specific conductance would be equal to cell constant upon observed conductance. So cell constant we are already having. You have to take the average value from here into observed conductance. So observed conductance you will be getting from here, and in that way you have to find out the specific conductance. And from this specific conductance, you have to find out the equivalent conductance. That would be lambda C equal to 1000 into K. K is specific conductance upon the concentration. So concentration is this one. Okay, so in this way you have to find out the equivalent conductance, and then using this equivalent conductance and this concentration, you have to draw this graph for a strong electrolyte. That okay, and we know that this is the DHO equation. When you plot a graph of equivalent conductance versus the concentration, the intercept would be lambda 0 and the slope would be minus a lambda 0 plus b. Okay, so over here you can see that this is the graph. Okay, so you can see that this is the slope and the intercept would be considered to be as a lambda 0. So over here the lambda 0 which is being obtained is 150. Okay, now we have taken KCl. So let us see the standard or the reference value which is being given for KCl is how much? It is 149.86, and the answer which we are getting is 150, right? So it is almost the same. Okay, so lambda 0 at 25 degrees Celsius for KCl we have obtained to be 150, and it is very nearer to 149.86. Okay, so similarly you can take HCl and you can take even NaCl in order to obtain this lambda 0 values. Okay, so I have over here taken KCl, and the lambda 0 which is being obtained is 150. That is limiting value, and you can say that it is the equivalent conductance at infinite dilution, or at, you can say, zero concentration. So here in this table, you can see that as the concentration decreases, right, we will go from bottom to top. As the concentration decreases, or you can say as the dilution increases, the equivalent conductance would increase. Okay, there is slight problem in this reading, right? First two readings are slightly problematic, and this might occur due to the human error. If you don't carry out the dilution properly and if you don't measure the conductance properly, you might get the errors in the measurement, right? But if you look at to the last three readings, then you can see that they are increasing with the increase in the dilution. So we are considering only the last three readings in order to draw a graph. Okay, and you can see that the equivalent conductance at infinite dilution which is being obtained is 150. Okay, so the aim of the practical was to verify the DHO equation, and you have to prove that the Debye-Huckel-Onsager's limiting law is valid for uni-univalent strong electrolyte. Okay, so we have seen over here that at infinite dilution, the equivalent conductance which is being obtained is 150, and that is near to the standard value, that is 149.86. Okay, so we have proved that the limiting law which is being given by Debye-Huckel on Sagar is satisfied for the strong electrolyte, right? So we have seen that at infinite dilution, the equivalent conductance would attain a limiting value. Okay, so whatever the standard value is there, we are also getting that value, right? So it is proved that at infinite dilution, the equivalent conductance would attain a limiting value, which is referred to as the equivalent conductance at infinite dilution or at zero concentration, right? So we have proved that part, and even we have proved that with the change in the concentrations of the solution, there would be variation in the equivalent conductance, right? Definitely if the concentration changes, then there would be variation in the equivalent conductance, and with the decrease in the concentration, equivalent conductance would increase. So we have proved both of the things. The first thing is that the at infinite dilution, the equivalent conductance would attain a limiting value. Okay, and the next thing is that with the change in the concentration, equivalent conductance would change. Okay, there would be variation in the equivalent conductance, and with dilution, the equivalent conductance increases. Right. So in this way, we have proved that the DHO equation is satisfied, or you can say the Debye-Huckel-Onsager's limiting law is valid for strong uni-univalent electrolyte. Okay, thank you.